is gonna be awesome.
Go on, attack. The deck cat. Stomping her feet. Look, I'm angry.
Good morning, everybody. So here we are. You've seen a couple of videos of us telling you how we got where we're at, and and now it's time to move forward and hopefully get a little bit more interesting. I want to tell you a little bit of how we got here, and we'll tell you more about who we are as we go along. Anyway, so yeah, it is March 15th as of this recording. It's actually a pretty frigid day. We've had about a week of decently warm weather where, you don't need the whole jacket and everything. I was actually outside with a sweater on and it was fantastic. But today we're sitting about, well, if you see on this right here, we're sitting about -4 Celsius. But the wind chill today is pretty wicked. It's hitting -15 after the wind chill. So it's pretty frigid. Anyway, so it's going to get a little bit more interesting now. We are going to be having some actual projects as we move forward here on our, we're not on what's most likely not going to be our final homestead, but we're building our way towards it. And we're going to be doing a few projects here as we look to, get some various income streams happening and follow along with our dream to be, farming and growing our own food and producing stuff to, give to the local people and get into farmers markets and things like that. So anyway, with that, we kind of actually started, like the first time we actually started calling ourselves farmers was last year, 2020. Probably May, June, we decided to take the plunge to become urban farmers. And we were doing that, growing microgreens in the spare room in the basement of our old house. And so we brought all of that equipment with us. So I'm going to be taking a nice indoor project today and setting up one of the grow shelves. And, you guys can see that go together, and I can give you the details on our spacing and what we're using and how we did it for the equipment with the shelving, the fans, and the grow lights. And take a look at that and see what our setup's going to be like. And so get something a little bit more interesting. And we've had a few talks with our landlords about other things we want to do on the property here. We're just right about an acre, and so it's not all usable. Like there's a pretty steep slope at the back here towards the lake that is not really usable for anything other than what it is. You can see there's the lake behind me and the hill starting at there's the line of wood there, which was kind of holding up the fill that they pushed out when they built the house, which is kind of degraded down over the years. And then it's a steep downslope down there, so it's not really going to be usable for much in regards to what we as far as growing food and stuff like that. But we'll see what we can do. For my plans, I am enrolled in a permaculture design course, so that's how we want to be pushing forward, as being as renewable as we can, and making sure we're building up the soil rather than completely destroying it. So we want to be getting some animals. Probably for here, one of the things we're going to be doing is getting some chickens. We've got permission to do that and build a coop on the property, so we can start using them to help with composting and building up some soil that we can use for our garden plots. We'll be building those as well, and planting and seeing what we can grow here. We are in plant hardiness zone 3A, so the the last frost date is actually the end of May, so we've got time. As you can see, we're still mostly all iced over and snowed over. It's starting to melt though, and we'll be getting there. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be working inside today a little bit. We're going to set up the shelf and let you see how it goes. Hopefully you find it a little bit more interesting than just Caroline and I chatting on about how we got here. Now you know that. So let's move forward together. Alright, so the shelf is all put together, and I'll give you a quick little once over of the setup here. So as you can see, we've got our grow lights. So those are 4-foot long T5 bulbs, so they're a little bit more energy efficient. They're what came in the original package we got, but once they burn out, I'm looking at replacing them with LED bulbs. It really doesn't make that much of a difference to the quality of the grow from what we've seen. And then we've also got just these little USB desk fans. So they come in pairs, and they're all USB powered, and you can daisy chain them together. so you can get up to, well, we had them hooked up, at one point we had 4 hooked together, but the last set was getting really weak. And then you hook on the 5th one and it doesn't work at all. So we've got them hooked up 3 in one set and 2 in the other for the 5 grow shelves. So yeah, it's just your standard wire shelf as well. So these shelves are, again, they're 48 wide by 18 deep. So they're a little bit smaller than the trays we have, which are 20 inches deep, but a little bit of overlap doesn't hurt. So yeah, this is our setup here. We've got good airflow. I can feel it here. They're nice and quiet too. The fans, they're great. So if you need something even on your desk, they're good for helping cooling around your if your workstation or something like that. They're fantastic for that. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when it's all on, and I've got it chained so that you can chain the lights together as well, but the cords really are only long enough if you're going in, a line of 2 shelves together, going the depth from top to bottom. It only allows you to have a grow depth of about 8 inches between shelves, so it's not really that useful for it. But it also allows you to, having them this way, they each have their own switch, so you can kind of turn off the ones you're not using and only have the ones you're using going. A little bit better for energy consumption. And it's the same with the fans too. So they all have, each pair has one of these on it, and you can set it to high, medium, or low, or off, and that will turn off this set as well as the one chained to it. So anything below it will also be controlled by this one switch. So the first one in the chain, which is the top one here, would control all 3 of those if you want. And the same, like this is the first one in this chain, would control both of them. Or you can just set them off individually if you like. So it's really versatile for energy consumption and control. All right. So anyway, that's our setup and the hardware that we'll be using. We will be doing another video soon on setting up your grow trays and doing the soiling, the watering, the seeding, and we'll have a series of that showing you what the turnaround is. So you're looking at 7 to 14 days for most microgreens. So it's really quick turnaround. And even some of those we'll probably end up putting in the garden to grow full size and see how that does. Because, we've got broccoli, we've got, one of the big ones actually is sunflowers. You wouldn't think that, they're really something you eat other than the seeds, but at least I didn't. But the shoots are actually really tasty. So it's definitely worth trying out if you're interested in starting growing your own food at home. I mean, it's great. It's something you can do everywhere. Speaking of that, so yes, I did say I was doing the permaculture design course. We'll drop a link below to the course I'm taking. It's by Bret James in High Sierra Homestead. So yeah, it's a really great comprehensive course to get started. And permaculture is something you can practice whether you have just a deck in an apartment, or even not. Even just inside, you can start growing inside. But the whole purpose of it is to, regenerate the soil and not, make it better when you're done rather than worse as current industrial farming does. And so that's our goals moving forward. I'm learning that and learning how to use the edges and design it and make it all work together and using nature to help. So how we utilize the animals we have and how we control it and everything like that. With whatever, the deer and everything that come in, how do we control where they're going and, use them to help fertilize and everything like that. And the chickens as well, like I was saying earlier, and get, good growing soil with plants working together with animals and everything. It's a more holistic and natural approach to growing your food. And it's something that, with industrial farming, we've really lost sight of. And it's something that I believe at least is the way to move forward. I've seen articles recently about how more Canadian farmers are looking at more regenerative processes. Well, regenerative is what they mean is when they're talking about permaculture, how you, regenerate the soil as you're growing your crops and how you keep it from washing away. Well, it's, just a matter of letting things that you might consider weeds to continue growing because they hold the soil in place when your other crop is done. So yeah, it's really interesting, and it's, I'm just at the start of the course too, so we'll be learning and implementing that this year and the years to come. and I hope you'll follow along. So yeah, again, we'll put the link in down below for the course, and you can take a look at it if you're interested. It's definitely not too far out of reach if it's something you want to do. And it's something that you can, once you've got your PDC certificate, you can be designing this for other people as well and helping teach and grow the movement. So yeah, and that's why we're here. All right, so make sure you click like and subscribe. Keep following along with us on our journey here, as we will be striving to get stuff rolling and happening, and more interesting and more instructive as we're learning too. So learn along with us and help us grow. Thanks.